Hello everyone. Today we will be going over Deku at the beginning of the war arc and how he scales to the rest of his peers. Even though I'm gonna be honest, I'm just gonna outright say it. It's probably a wash, but we're just gonna go over what he can do, see how he matches up, and even how he compares to the top heroes. Deku at the beginning of the war arc is able to use 30% of his power constantly with no drawbacks, and is able to use 45% when he's about to unleash an attack at the moment of impact. He's also able to fully use Float and Black Whip to his advantage in battle, while also using One For All at the same time, which is pretty impressive considering, he just got his quirks. But it's going to get even crazier from here. When he was fighting 75% Shigaraki, he was able to use Float and Black Whip to keep Shigaraki in the air, while hitting him with multiple 100% smashes. Now with the 100% smashes, you can calculate into his actual strength, but however, for the sake of argument, I'll only be using his current strength with his 45% without breaking his bones. But if he needs it, it's there. But we're going to be calculating him without the use of him needing crutches. So there's definitely a substantial difference between him and pre-time skip Deku. But it's not enough to put him at the level of the top of the heroes just yet. But we're going to see later on in later arcs, like the Vigilante Deku arc, that he becomes a lot stronger and he's able to use his multiple quirks to his advantage in battle. Float and Black Whip are such utility-based quirks that they're able to just accompany One For All's overwhelming strength. And I can see what Horikoshi did with how he set up his quirks, not to make them overpowered, just to make them support options. In terms of where he scales to the other students in UA, I don't see any way any of them would be able to beat him at this point. I mean, he has multiple quirks. He has the most broken quirk in the series, One For All. I just don't see a way Bakugo or Todoroki, the big three, would be able to touch him at this point. Even in the war arc, we're not even talking about Vigilante Deku at this point. But he's just crazy. I mean, like I said, I don't think he's at the top yet, but he's definitely approaching that level. After especially what he did to Shigaraki, and Endeavor was just getting manhandled by him, that's extremely impressive. After the war arc, we see Deku has moved on from UA and he's going around chasing criminals that Alpha 1 has released. But one of the criminals that was also released was Muscular, his former opponent. But we see this time, it's a lot different than it was before. With the use of his new quirk, Smokescreen, he's able to move around freely without being detected by Muscular, which in my opinion is pretty powerful quirk. Like I said before, it's not a power-based quirk, it is a utility-based quirk that he can use whenever he's about to be detected or doesn't want to be seen. In his then fight with Muscular, he then proceeds to one-shot him with what looks to be a 45% smash, I'm assuming. The story is very weird with telling us what percentage he's using, but for the sake of argument, we're just going to say 45% smash. And that is still pretty impressive considering that's Muscular, and that took his baited 1,000,000% smash in order to beat him. And for the record, Deku looks way more menacing than he has before. He actually looks he doesn't even look like a hero at that point. He kind of looks like a villain. I just really like the overall design of his costume at this point, with the mask over his face and everything. And at this point in the story, he's just going around fighting criminals that All For One released. So even then, he's still training his quirks and he's still learning how to control them. In his fight with Lady Nagant, he was able to use the second user's quirk Fajin in combination with 45% to make a pseudo 100%, which seems to have the same force as an actual 100% smash without drawbacks. In the fight, we also see him use a variation of Black Whip called One Point Strike, which is just a concentrated version of Black Whip into a single point. After his fight with Lady Nagant, we see he's just going around taking all these criminals down without any rest, and he's heavily fatigued. If Deku were to rest his body before going around and hunting all these criminals, he would be even stronger than he is right now. So what we're seeing is a not full powered Deku still having no problems taking all these criminals down. And that might be due to his mindset at the time, but he's still impressive with his overall strength. Up until chapter 341, we don't know what the second user's quirk is, but he doesn't even need it to be one of the strongest people in My Hero right now. Based on the appearance of the second user, it's probably a projectile-based quirk based on the gauntlet on his hand. In terms of where he stacks up to other top heroes like Endeavor with pseudo 100% and the multiple quirks, it's hard to say he would be faster and stronger than them, but the top heroes would also take experience. If they were to hypothetically fight, I would probably give it to Deku, but I wouldn't argue with you if you said Endeavor because of his experience. But it's hard to say, and it's debatable. That's gonna wrap it up for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys later.